Welcome back, design students. In this video, the second of the series on the candle, we're going to show you how to make the actual candle. And we're going to use some familiar tools like extrusion and smoothing, but we're also going to use a couple of new tools like deformations. But we're going to use a combination of extrusions and smoothing to get the look of the candle and the dripping wax that would come from it. So let's start with the cylinder, and let's scale it in the X and the Z axis, and then let's move it up, put it on top of our candle holder, and I'm going to switch to the front view, and I'll switch to the left view, side view, and that should center it. Now I have no idea why my display is messed up like that. Pretty sure it has something to do with my graphics card. So I'm going to reset my display. That didn't work, so now I'm going to try restarting Maya, and I'll see you back in a minute. So there you go, I fixed it. What I had to do was import my candlestick and my candle into a new file. You can see that it's untitled here. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And sometimes that's the fix when things start to behave strangely. So let's continue. I'm going to hit F on my keyboard to focus on the candle, and go to the Attributes Editor, and we're going to give it, I don't know, 15 height segments and 3 cap segments. And now I'm going to switch to face mode. I'm going to grab some faces, sort of like that, and hold down Shift and extrude them upwards. And do it again for another section. And again for another section. And then when we smooth this, you can see what that looks like. And that's basically the way we're going to do the entire candle. Exactly how this looks is entirely up to you. Now I pushed 3 on my keyboard to smooth that way. 2 gives you the cage, 3 gives you smoothing without the cage. So I'm going to switch to Vertex Mode. I'm going to start to grab some of these vertices and just kind of try to make this thing look a little more random. And it doesn't really matter if you select a couple of vertices, but you don't mean to in this case, because we're trying to make it look random. Then I'm going to grab this center one here, and I'm going to hit B on my keyboard to turn on soft selection. Then I'm going to hold down B with my left mouse button and adjust that brush. If you can't see it, zoom out until you can. Then I'm going to pull that center down a little bit, and then I'm going to grab these and pull that down. Like so. And then I'll turn off soft selection by pushing B on the keyboard, switch to face mode, and I'm going to grab some faces in front of the channel that I created. And just try to make it look sort of as random as you can. Go all the way down to the base like that. And then we're going to Shift right click and select Extrude Face and pull that out. Whoa, that's way too much. Maybe 0.1 or 0.05 would be good. 0.02. I think 0.02 works for me. Then I'm going to grab these on the ends here and get my move tool. I'm going to switch my tool settings from world to component. And then I'm going to hold down shift and pull those out. And then pull them out again. And then try scaling them. And then maybe pull that down so it looks kind of like a drip. Now down at the bottom here, we'll switch to object mode and turn on the vertical axis and then hit my middle mouse button to move this up. Incidentally, while I have this up, we don't need these bottom faces here on the candle. So let's switch to face mode. Grab all of these, then hold down Control and deselect the ones there so we just have the bottom ones, and delete those bottom faces. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Let's switch to face mode, and object mode, and middle mouse button, move it down. Okay, so now we're going to make some wax that's dripping off the base here. So what we need is to cut an edge down here so we can extrude some faces outward. So we need the multi-cut tool, hold down Control, and cut an edge about right there, say. And then get the move tool and switch to face mode and grab maybe these faces here. Hold down shift and pull them out. And then hold down shift maybe and pull them out again. And then maybe just grab, you could just leave it like that. Or we could kind of grab this middle one here, or maybe these couple, and pull them out, and then pull them down, and switch to Vertex Mode. And what I'm trying to do is create a drip off the edge here. You can see how hard it is to move things when you don't have them lined up here. That's why I'm having trouble with this. So I'm going to switch to object mode and see if I can move it a little better that way. So anyway, you get the idea. And there we have a dripping candle. Now the next tool we're going to use is called the Soft Modification tool, and it's an old sculpting tool. It can be found under the Deform menu right here. And what this allows you to do is select an object and kind of put a point on it that you can then use to deform the whole thing, to deform parts of it. And just like with the soft selection tool, you can hold down B and your left mouse button and adjust the size of the fall off. So let's adjust it sort of like that. And then every time you click on the object, you place a deformation point that you can then move, see? So let's come down here and do this piece. And you can see what I did to the side of the candle there. I didn't really mean to do that, but we can also sort of use this to sort of bend the whole candle. Kind of like so. So the final thing we're going to do is create a wick. So let's start with a cylinder, and it's going to be a very small cylinder. Put it up sort of in the top there, and we're going to have to scale this thing down a lot. And we're going to give it some height segments. And then we're going to come in and in Vertex Mode. I hate how Maya does that. Grab some of these vertices and scale them out in all directions to kind of get, you know, a wicky kind of look here. Just to give it some randomness. And then because wicks usually bend over at the top, let's grab these top vertices and rotate them. Kind of like so. And then move them a little bit. Rotate them again. Move them a little bit. I'm just trying to kind of get it to bend over just a little bit. And then if you smooth that, you'll see we have something that looks kind of wicky. And that's certainly a good enough wick. So there you have it, a dripping candle. And, you know, of course yours can look different than mine does. In fact, I hope it does. And in the next video, we're going to create a flame for this candle using fluid effects. And I'll see you then.